Good afternoon, YouTube pipe smokers. Prairie Piper here on a Sunday afternoon. Today's video is going to be about breaking in a pipe and what it means to season a pipe. So, kind of two different things depending on who you talk to. This is a very subjective um, topic, but let's get into it. So, breaking in a pipe. What is breaking in a pipe? So, to keep things simple, most pipe smokers can generally agree that breaking in a pipe means putting tobacco in the chamber, to the top, smoking it down to the bottom of the bowl several times until you basically build up a cake or a char on the inside of the chamber, right? That's the simplest definition of breaking in a pipe. You get a new pipe, even if it has a bowl coating, you're still going to have to put, several bowls of tobacco through that in order to build up the char, build up the cake on the inside of the wall. So that's the easiest explanation of what breaking in a pipe is. The reason you're doing that to build up the char, as noted in the previous video, is to insulate your pipe, right? To insulate the wood, protect it, and also enhance the flavor as well, right? So how do you do this? Again, pretty simple. Stuff your bowl full of tobacco to the top, smoke it to the bottom, and right, whether depending on what you're smoking, if it's an aromatic with the sugars in there, you're going to build up a carbon cake, a char much quicker than say something like a straight Virginia. But eventually, throw your tobacco in there, fill it to the top, smoke it to the bottom. Eventually, you're going to build up a char regardless of what type of tobacco it is you're using. I would generally recommend a ribbon, just a little easier to use to start off in a new pipe, but you can use whatever tobacco you want. There's no set rule there. So the only other thing that I'll say on breaking in a pipe before we move on is, some pipe smokers will say, well, fill it halfway up the bowl and then smoke it down a few times. And then after you've done that, fill it to the top and then smoke it all the way down. And the reason for this is you essentially want the cake to build up evenly in the pipe. And if you fill your bowl to the top and only smoke half of it, say you do that a few times, you got to go do something else, something comes up, or you just decide you don't want to smoke anymore, you only get a char build up on the top half of the pipe, right? And you want the char to go from the top of the bowl to the bottom of the bowl. So that's why some guys say use the half method at first, just for half a dozen bowls, get that char build up on the bottom, and then you can kind of rotate it to the top and smoke the bowl top to bottom. But honestly, if you fill the pipe, the bowl to the top, and you smoke it down to the bottom, then that half fill method is not really going to matter anyways. Essentially, what you're going for is just an even cake buildup on the inside of the pipe, right? And the chamber walls, you want it to be even. Now, the only thing I'll say on that before moving on, I've seen in a lot of videos, a lot of pipe smokers talk about, and this is the reason for doing the half fill method, is you want to get the char, or you want to get your carbon cake down to the bottom of the bowl. That's true. I'm not denying that. But I think we need to clarify, especially for some of our new pipe smokers out there, you're not going to get char to the very bottom of your bowl. So when you hear someone say you want to get char from the top of the bowl, you always get char right up to the top of the rim. You're not going to get that. So you're not going to get that char that's on the top of the rim here all the way to the very bottom. You're not going to get that. If there are pipe smokers out there that you have char on the bottom of your pipe on the inside of the chamber, please let me know how you do that, because I don't know how that's possible, quite frankly. Um, and I'll explain that. I think what a lot of pipe smokers mean is, when you want the carbon cake to be even and you want it from the top of the bowl to the bottom of the bowl, generally I think what we are referring to is you want it from the top of the bowl to about like 3/4 of the way down, maybe 4/5 down to the bottom, down to where the bottom of the bowl starts to curve, right? So if you can imagine this, um, if you can imagine the shape of your bowl, right, as a U, right? So the U comes down, and you want the walls from the top of the U to the bottom of the U to be caked in char, right? Your carbon cake. But as that U shape comes down and starts to curl, right? Curl underneath, starts to round out, you're not going to get carbon cake on the bottom half of the bowl or the bottom half of that U shape, if you can visualize that. So don't get disgruntled if like 6 months down the road you don't have like a cake build up on the bottom of the inside of your chamber on the bowl, because you're not going to be able to get that. And like I said, leave comments, send me a picture if you have carbon cake on the inside chamber bottom of your bowl. I don't know how you get that. Um, Given the fact that you've got dottle in the bottom, moisture in the bottom, and the smoke is done burning your embers. There's no heat anymore by the time you get to the bottom of that bowl. So just something I just wanted to clarify in watching a few of the videos in prep for my video on talking about breaking in pipes and when we get into seasoning a pipe. Um, just that I wanted to note. You're going to get the char on the side walls, and you want that going from the top of the bowl all the way down to where the bowl really starts to curve in. And you'll get that char down there. And you might even get it a little bit at the bottom of the bowl, but you're never going to get it in the bottom of the bowl, at least in my experience. And one thing you learn as a pipe smoker is you never stop learning. So if somebody's got, like if you have char, I'd love to see a picture of what char looks like in the bottom, right? In the bottom of the bowl. If you have char on there, I'd love to see it. I'm not saying it's not possible. I think it'd be very, very difficult to get that for the reasons, like I said, you got moisture laying down there, you got dottle in there, and you're typically no longer putting flame down at the bottom of the bowl because there's no more tobacco there. So hopefully for some of the noobs out there and novice pipe smokers, that makes a little bit more sense if you were wondering why you don't have char, under at the bottom of your bowl, literally. Okay. So that's really just kind of some of the basics about breaking in a pipe. And like I said, I think most people can get on the same page in saying, yeah, breaking in a pipe is filling it full of tobacco, smoking it down to the bottom, and eventually you build up a cake. You can decide on the level of thickness of cake that you want, but that's breaking in a pipe. Most people, I think, can agree with that. When we talk about seasoning a pipe or a seasoned pipe or a well broken in pipe, actually, let's just stick with seasoned. When somebody says I got a seasoned pipe or a well-seasoned pipe, that may mean a few different things, and I think it does based off the amount of years that you've been smoking. And I'll explain that in a sec. But seasoned pipe could mean a few different things to different people. Number one, some people considering putting honey on the inside of the bowl, excuse me, to help with the breaking in process. But some people actually do that because they like the flavor of it as well. Most popular for breaking in a pipe and seasoning a pipe. So for some people, putting honey on the inside of the bowl is seasoning it, just like you're putting salt and pepper on a steak. Some people consider very old pipes seasoned pipes, like an estate pipe that's 100 years old or 75 years old, like an Old English pipe from the 20s. Some people consider that seasoned. Some people consider that just aged briar in general, right? Heavily aged briar. Julius Vez has briar from the 60s still sitting around in his shop. So does Mark Tinsky. Mark Tinsky, you can, for an extra $50, you can get aged Greek briar that I think he said was from the 70s. So it can be very old briar. And seasoned pipe or seasoned briar can also just mean, that it's been dried out and air cured before it's been sent to the pipe maker or to the factory. So there's a few things that seasoned. It's semantics now, right? We're getting into semantics here, but I kind of wanted to explain it because for me, a seasoned pipe is related to breaking in a pipe as well. And the last thing is how you smoke your pipe might be an indication of how you interpret what a seasoned pipe is. And that example is setting aside, right? Some pipe smokers consider setting aside a certain pipe for certain blends to be a seasoned pipe. So, for example, I prescribe to this theory. So I have pipes that I smoke just for Latakia, just for English and Balkans, and I have pipes that just do Virginia and Perique, and I've got Meerschaum for, right, Meerschaum does not ghost. I'll put, aromatics through the Meerschaum and anything else. So the philosophy behind seasoning a pipe in the sense of just smoking one blend in it. So for example, this is my BST Bryce Sweat and Tears pipe that just does Virginia Periques. So this pipe has only ever seen Virginia Periques. It's never seen anything else, right? But if I put Latakia in here one day, that Latakia smoke would be ruined because this pipe is ghosted. It's ghosted as a Virginia Perique. It's got a lot of sweetness in it, right? A lot of sweetness and a lot of must from the Perique. So it's going to taint the taste of my Balkan blend, right? Or my English blend that I'm putting in here, which is why I have a separate pipe that just does English tobaccos and Balkans. So what that does is over time, when you only put one certain blend, right? Just like if you smoke the Virginia Perique in the Latakia or the Latakia blend in a Virginia Perique pipe, it changes the taste of them, right? That's called ghosting. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that. But when you just smoke one blend in one pipe, you're seasoning the pipe with that flavor over and over and over and over again. So you're kind of like intentionally ghosting the pipe. So that when I smoke Virginia Periques in this, I've had this for 3 or 4 years now, and it's only ever seen Virginia Perique. My Virginia Periques are sweeter and richer, I believe, because the pipe has been ghosted as a Virginia Perique. So there's kind of built-in flavor, right, into the pipe, and it's Virginia and it's Perique. Hope that makes sense. So some guys believe, like I said, that seasoning a pipe means dedicating it one pipe for one blend that will take all those flavors and build on that over time. I believe that. I do. I'm in that camp. I prescribe to that. So when you kind of put the two together, for me, and this is just me, I can't really speak for anyone else, but I think when you talk to a novice pipe smoker, a newer pipe smoker versus a veteran, I think you're going to get, and it's semantics, but I think you're going to get, different. You'll have to talk to one another and tease out what exactly it is you mean by a seasoned pipe or breaking in a pipe or a pipe that's well broken in, right? Because I think if you got an if you're a novice, right, you're new to pipe smoking, you're saying I'm breaking in a pipe, you're talking to an older guy or girl, whomever it might be, and you say I'm breaking in a pipe, that's generally going to mean, okay, you're going to fill full of tobacco and smoke it until it has carbon cake build up on it. For me, like if I often tell people, like, this is my burley smoker. I often tell people this is a great smoker. It was a pretty good smoker from day one, but it gets better and better with age and time on it. Um, I'm not exactly sure. I have some theories why, right? It's been well cured, first season. Again, you use the terminology you want, right? It's smoked very well from day one, but it gets better and better and better. And I think what you have to remember is, like, for me, if I say a pipe's well broken in or it's well seasoned, is a pipe that has had a lot a lot of bowls put through it and a lot of years on it, which might be the same thing, right? You've had this pipe for a number of years. It's seen a lot of heat, a lot of moisture, a lot of tobacco, um, and over time, these have a chemical change in the pipe in a good way, I believe, right? Because when you first get a piece of briar, um, you know, not all the impurities have been cured or boiled out of that, so to speak, right? So, you might have this pipe, you might buy a pipe like this, it smokes nice, and it's an okay smoker, but you put it away for a few years or a few months even, or maybe more than a few months, a couple of years, and you go back to it, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't remember this being such a good smoker, but it's actually quite impressive now. And I think so I think what I'm saying is the more you smoke your pipe, they change in, they're always changing. Your pipes are always changing when you have moisture and heat put into them, and um, they're always they're always changing. Your pipes are always changing. Sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? I guess their chemical structure kind of changes over time. And I believe, for me, a seasoned pipe is selecting that one blend, putting it in there, smoking it exclusively, and with Father Time, putting that mileage onto the pipe, much like you would sort of an engine, right? When you buy a brand new car, that engine's not broken in, right? Um, you need to put about, I don't know if it changes every year now. When I was younger, it used to be 10,000 miles. I think newer engines used to be 10 or 15,000 kilometers, until the engine was considered broken in, right? Um, Cars are meant to be driven, pipes are meant to be smoked. And I think you'll find, the longer you smoke a pipe, and which is why some guys believe that estate pipes are the only way to go, right? They've been really, really smoked so much that they've changed in a positive way, and they've got great char buildup, great cake buildup, great flavors in them. A lot of the moisture's kind of been smoked out. It's a really, really hard, dry piece of wood, right? Over time, these are things that happen. So I don't want to blab on too much longer, but I hope that kind of made sense. Like I said, I know it's semantics, but there's breaking in a pipe, and then there's a few different definitions of what seasoning a pipe or a seasoned pipe or a well broken in pipe might mean, just based off of how many years you've been smoking a pipe. So hopefully that helped. Um, that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Prairie Piper out.